It's super beautiful out. Spring has truly sprung. My first crocuses have opened up. The maple tree behind me, it has burst into bloom. It's starting to look really great around here, and I'm really excited. But with everything bursting back into life, I am reminded of the task that I always forget to do early enough in spring that needs to get done, which is I need to cut back all of my dead growth on my perennials. You can see my grasses behind me. I also have a bunch of herbs and different flowering kind of, you know, shrubby plants, and I never prune them back in the fall. The recommendation is usually to prune everything back in the fall so everything's nice and fresh come spring, but I always leave it in place because it gives a little bit of habitat to insects and other wildlife. And, you know, if there's some seeds or anything in there, the little chickadees have something to make it through winter with. So I always leave the task until spring. But if you don't cut back the stuff soon enough, then it starts to get really hard to do because the new growth starts to come up and then you start risking breaking and injuring that new growth. So today I gotta get it done. I gotta get going, clean everything up, and make sure that it is a blank, clean slate for all the growth it's gonna do. This succulent is a perfect example of what I was saying about you gotta do it before it's too late. You can see it's already starting to grow a lot, and we wanna get all of this old growth trimmed out of there so that it doesn't crowd in everything new that's gonna come up. Just keeps it looking a little bit better too. This I should have really done a month ago. There we go, looking much fresher. Here is a dead cluster of tarragon. And then you can see in the base, lots of new growth coming up from the bottom. So all of this needs to get hacked off. My technique for this is to just grab it with one hand, hold it together, and then snip it off with the other. Smells so good. Then you have it in hand, easy to put into your bucket to take it away and out of the garden. Some plants, like my lovage here, all they need is me to come and gently pull off all the leaf matter. Doing that just cleans it up, clears it for growing, but I don't actually need to be doing the clippers in there. Look how fun it looks. All these rosy colors that it has when it first comes out before it leafs up and turns green. Lovage is such a weed. Here's a perfect example. This is like an entire cluster of like 1 million little lovage babies that are growing. If you leave lovage, because lovage is like 6 feet tall. In the summer, it's huge, and it just spreads seeds everywhere. It'll take over your entire garden very quickly if you don't keep on top of it. Here is my most precious plant out of my entire collection. This is my sea kale, just starting to pop up. It's doing the same thing as the lovage. It's all super purple, but this is actually a green plant once it gets growing. But I'm very happy to see that it's survived. Here's another one of my perennials. This is Good King Henry, and this is another one that I can probably just pull this, well, should be able to just pull these old leaves off, give it a bit of space. This is a perennial green, so it's one of the first things that kind of comes up before anything else in the garden. It's super, super hardy, and it also spreads everywhere and just grows like crazy. You could feed a family on one of these. The last thing I have to clear out is my horseradish. You can see it hiding in here. This is another one where the dead leaves can just get moved away. It's much more clear what's going on in here after those leaves get pulled back. This is all the horseradish. And it's funny because when it first comes up, it has this spiky fern type leaf, but then it turns into a nice smooth big leaf like what you associate with a horseradish plant. But it's fun to see these first new leaves. The garden's also full of all these flowering stems from my garlic chives, and these are another one I can just grab and they'll loosen up. But I should pull those because I'm sure in here somewhere My little baby onions are starting to come back.
Oh, it looks so much better now. Now there's lots of space for everything to grow back and get all lush and beautiful. I was chatting with someone on the internet about violets, and they asked how to get rid of them, and I told them I moved, but that I wasn't sure that the technique was going to actually work. And it looks like I was right, because I still have violets here too. They're quite pretty though. I cleaned up my sorrel too. I pulled all the little bits and pieces. This is one that would definitely do better cleaning it up in the fall, just because it grows in so fast and it was hard to clean, but oh, looking pretty good. One of the things I'm the most excited to see coming back is my Hellebores. They've all started to bloom. My winter roses, Lenten rose. Very pretty. And they have like all the leaves on the outside too. So this is a fairly easy one. You just kind of sweep your hand around and it clears it out. All the better to see my pretties. Everything needs a weed so badly. Look at this one here. This is one of my favorites. Super ruffled, and then the just punch of color around the white. I love this one. Look at how incredible the flowers are on this maple tree. The neighbor's bees have just been going crazy on this, but so pretty. One of my plants that I'm actually a little bit concerned about is my hostas. These are my hostas here. Easy to clear, just sweep the dead away. But there's nothing really popping up yet once I do that. We have voles here as a pest, and so I'm concerned as to if the voles have underground eaten all my hosta plants, and now they are not going to recover. When it comes to the grasses, I'm always terrible at cutting them down in time. I always think they look so pretty, but this year I'm gonna do it. You gotta cut them before any growth starts, or else when you basically cut the tip off, and then they grow flat for their entire life. So let's hack this down. With this, I just get in there and cut it all. If you have like a bigger edge pruner type thing, it would work even better. There we go. Hacked back and ready for a new year. And I am just gonna leave all the grass here. This garden is a weedy mess, and I have the fence to keep it from blowing away, so I'm gonna use this as mulch. This is a bleeding heart. These actually grow and bloom quite early, and so just pulling out some of this old stuff that actually did get hacked back, but you can see the new growth starting to come in. This here is a Shasta daisy, and it's done lots of growth, but use a flush, get some of that old dead stuff out of there. Makes it look a bit greener at the very least. The last thing that I'm super excited about here is these are peonies. You can kind of see the tuber that's exposed, and then a little bit of growth coming up. So I'm gonna hack off last year's growth, and I'm excited to see this coming back. I'm pretty happy with how this garden cleanup has gone. I love perennials for the fact that they come back so early. There's such small amounts of work, you know, to do this. Couple hours of cleanup once a year really isn't much. So I'm gonna go dump this in my compost pile and call it a day. We'll see you guys next time.